Mohamed Salah looked into a camera at Elland Road and said the club he'd given 9 years to had thrown him under the bus. Months later, the manager he was accusing said Liverpool would never replace him with just one player. Same season, same two men, two completely different stories. One of them is wrong about the other, and today you're going to find out which one. Quick context if you're newer to this. Liverpool are one of England's biggest clubs. The Premier League is the top tier of English soccer, and Salah is Egypt's biggest star, a forward who'd already won 2 league titles and a Champions League at Anfield, their home stadium. This isn't a fringe player venting. This is one of the most decorated players in club history calling out his own manager in public on the record. Here's how we got there. Liverpool came into the 2025-26 season as defending champions, fresh off winning their 20th league title. Arne Slot, the manager who delivered that title in his very first season, started benching Salah not once. 3 games in a row, Liverpool beat West Ham 2-0 without him. They drew with Sunderland, saved only by an own goal, without him. Then they played Leeds United, went up 2-0 and let it slip to a 3-all draw. Salah watched the whole thing from the bench again. That's when he stopped holding back. "It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus," Salah said. "I think it is very clear that someone wanted me to get all of the blame." Let that sit for a second. He's not vaguely frustrated here. He's saying, on camera, that somebody inside his own club wanted him to take the fall for a season going sideways. He went further. "I said many times before that I had a good relationship with the manager, and all of a sudden, we don't have any relationship," he said. "I don't know why, but it seems to me, how I see it, that someone doesn't want me in the club." Then the line that's almost impossible to forget once you hear it. Describing how he found out he wouldn't start, he said, "You just have to take it and swallow it and go home." That's not a player annoyed about playing time. That's a player describing being managed like a problem to be handled quietly. Now here's the complication, and it matters. Liverpool's own former player turned pundit, Jamie Carragher, didn't side with Salah on this. He called the comments selfish. He reached back to 1985 when Liverpool legend Kenny Dalglish was substituted in an FA Cup semi-final by manager Joe Fagan and never once criticized him publicly for it. Carragher's point, even the club's greatest players in worse moments kept it inside the building. Salah didn't. Gary Neville, another major voice in English soccer media, agreed the comments wouldn't help anyone, saying they wouldn't help the club or Slot. So you've got 2 heavyweight pundits telling Salah he broke an unwritten rule of the sport. But here's where it gets more interesting than a simple legend versus pundits fight. Carragher wasn't fully on Slot's side either. He argued Slot had an obligation to play Salah anyway, if Salah genuinely gave Liverpool the best chance to win, saying a manager should never cut off his nose to spite his face. Even Salah's harshest critic thought the benching itself might have been a mistake. That's not the clean hero-villain split it looks like on the surface. Wayne Rooney landed on the opposite end. He said flatly he'd have dropped Salah too, full stop. So even among the pundits, there's no consensus. Some think Salah was wrong to speak. Some think Slot was wrong to bench him. A few think both at once. What happened next is where the story stops being about one bad week and starts being about an ending. In March 2026, Liverpool announced Salah would leave that summer, a full year before his contract was set to expire. He'd signed that contract extension less than a year earlier, right around the title win. Think about that timeline. He commits to ending his career at Liverpool in April 2025. By March 2026, he's already agreed to leave early. And even on his way out, he didn't fully let it go. In May, after a 4-2 loss to Aston Villa, Salah said he wanted Liverpool to return to playing heavy metal football, a phrase tied to the high-intensity, relentless style under their previous manager, Jurgen Klopp. Plenty of people in English soccer media read that as one more shot at Slot's more conservative approach, even as Salah was packing his bags. Here's the detail almost nobody puts next to that quote, though. Despite everything, the accusations, the parting jabs, Arne Slot's own public stance on Salah, according to ESPN, was that Liverpool would never be able to replace him with just one player, and that his exit would be the biggest change facing the club. Read that again. The manager he accused of throwing him under the bus never publicly fired back. Not once. He defended Salah's value on the way out the door. So which version is true? The player who felt betrayed and scapegoated, or the manager who, by his own account, valued him too much to ever truly turn on him? Maybe both. People can respect what you do and still mishandle how they treat you. That tension is the real story here more than any single quote. Salah's final appearance for Liverpool came on May 24th, 2026 against Brentford. He played 73 minutes. In that time, he set up Curtis Jones for a goal and assist that broke Steven Gerrard's all-time Liverpool record for Premier League assists. 9 years, 442 appearances, 257 goals, and his very last contribution on a Liverpool pitch was a piece of club history. He didn't celebrate like a man settling a score. He cried. By his own words, more than he had in his entire life. "I'm not really an emotional guy," he said, "but inside I take it like a baby." The man who'd stood at Elland Road months earlier describing being thrown under the bus was standing at Anfield in tears, telling fans it was very tricky to leave a place where he'd lived our youth. Both of those men are the same person. That's the part the highlight reels don't sit with long enough. Liverpool have already moved on. Andoni Iraola was confirmed as the club's new head coach on June 4th, 2026, taking over from Slot. Salah, meanwhile, heads into the FIFA World Cup this summer, leading Egypt in a group alongside Belgium, Iran, and New Zealand. Where he plays his club football next wasn't settled when this story was last confirmed, so the question isn't really whether Salah and Slot ever patch things up. That window's closed. The real question is whether Liverpool, under a brand new manager, can be anything close to what they were the season Salah helped them win it all. And whether the next time a Liverpool legend feels thrown under the bus, anyone in that building has learned a single thing from this one.